Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Hey, baby, how are you?
I am fantastic. And yourself?
Oh, I'm fantastic as well. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. It's a Monday. What can I say? My favorite day of the week. Okay, it's not really my favorite day of the week. I am excited today. Going to be visiting with a guy that the headline said, from a street fighter to a multimillionaire. I'm like, whoa, I need to get in on this. What is he doing? So Tom Nix, the author of a book called Nixland, we're going to be chatting with him later in the program. Genetically engineered mice are in the news. They have produced malaria vaccines in their milk that has worked to protect monkeys from the disease. Did we talk about that yesterday?
I don't know. I don't really listen to you most of the time.
I think we talked about that, so I'm not sure why that was in the news twice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. I don't know. We talked about it last week, I guess it would have been. Anyway, moving on to something that we didn't talk about. A recent study shows that caffeine does not dehydrate your body, as many athletes have been told for many, many, many years. So they're saying if you need a little caffeine, it's not going to dehydrate you. Recent study proves that, so now you know. Coming up, we got some special stuff happening on this Monday. We'll tell you what in a bit. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, March the 21st, and that means today is International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination Day.
Of course it is.
Of course. It's also International Day of Forests and the Trees Day.
Okay.
It's Memory Day. It's National Common Courtesy Day. It's Afghanistan Day. I don't know why they have a day, but apparently they do. National Renewable Energy Day. We Day, so like you and me? I don't know, it's us. No, it's we. National Single Parent Day, Poetry Day, Spring Fairy Fun Day, Twitter Day, Welderly Day, so it's well elderly, but it's all together, Welderly Day, and World Down Syndrome Day. So a lot of different things to celebrate today. And for those of you who can't think of anything else to celebrate, it's Poetry Day, so just make up a little poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Heidi Small, I love you. What do you think of that?
I'm going to celebrate Fairy Day
Spring
by
Fairy
reading
Day?
that book. Remember that book that I bought before we went? I don't know if we were going to Jamaica or where we're going, but we were going on a trip, and I bought this book. And it was written like a diary.
Yeah.
Like as you read it, it looked like it was somebody's diary, and it was this little girl that was seeing fairies, and nobody was believing her, and so she started just slamming them in her diary. So you're reading through it, and all of a sudden there's a squished fairy. There's all these squished fairies throughout this book. It's the best book ever.
You've got problems. Coming up, we've got some fun stuff to share on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. How can using a fast food drive-thru get even worse, Heidi?
I don't know.
How about talking to somebody through the speaker who's not even working in the restaurant?
What?
That happens all over the place now at McDonald's.
Well, hey, I mean, they started insisting on $15 an hour. Let's just do a call center type of a thing.
Now, you got to understand, that doesn't happen at every McDonald's right now, but it might be soon. McDonald's is outsourcing their drive-thru orders right now at some locations. They're using remote call centers staffed by professionals with very, quote, very strong communication skills, which is cool. They'll take your order and it'll relay it to the cooks at the McDonald's that you're sitting in the drive-thru line at.
That's crazy.
They think this will actually speed up the line and boost accuracy. Their CEO said, if you're in L.A., you might hear a person in North Dakota talking to you. And if you hear that, you'll maybe realize, oh, hey, this must be one of those outsourced drive-thru lanes.
It's a great idea, and it's a great reaction to the demands. So,
And the thing is, honestly, I like the very strong communication skills thing, because there are some times where the person that you're talking to doesn't have the greatest communication skills. I've been to those. I'm like, what's on that? And they're like, huh? What's on that burger? It's a burger. Like, but what are the other things that come on it?
and I've heard
there was
this
meat
has
on the
never
burger.
happened to me, but I've heard stories of people ordering a hamburger and say they want just ketchup on it, and they get just a bun with ketchup and there's no burger, or just pickles or whatever, and that's all that they get.
know, that's what they ask for. All right. Anyway, this newfangled technology is. Like I said, it's not at every McDonald's right now. They're testing it in some places, and if it works really well, it may be at every McDonald's before you know it. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Smoking is not only dangerous for your health, it's dangerous for your continued freedom if you're a criminal. Authorities said a burglary suspect was literally caught with his pants down while he was trying to run away.
What?
A deputy responded to an alarm at a convenience store early Tuesday morning and reported seeing a 37-year-old man exiting through a smashed-out front door while carrying several packs of cigarettes.
How would they have known he was 37? That's awfully specific.
I saw
He was 37.
Deputies said the man tried to flee, but with his hands full of cigarettes, it prevented him from holding up his pants, which fell down and tripped him before he could make it out of the parking lot. The man was charged with criminal mischief, burglary, theft, and possession of drug paraphernalia. So
Just another reason to wear pants that fit.
there you go. He's now being held on a $12,000 bail. So you're telling me that somebody who stole a bunch of cigarettes and smashed out a window also had drugs in their pocket?
And
You'd
baggy
never-
pants?
You'd never... Well, I have baggy pants once in a while.
No. You know what
You
I'm
guys
talking
make-
about.
you guys
The ones
make-
that are underpants are hanging out.
I've never
and-
understood that for anybody.
No, me
It doesn't
either.
make sense. I don't want to see your under britches. I just don't. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
If you can believe this, 21-year-old Yexil Wells, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen, which means citizenship in both places, and a college student from Florida, was late for his plane in Long Beach Airport in California. Upset that he was not allowed to board, he decided, I'm going to call in a phony bomb threat.
That's a good idea.
Never a good idea. And he reported that it was on a flight to Fort Lauderdale. He hoped that would delay the flight so he could get on it. Well, the flight was delayed
We've talked about this guy.
for about an hour. This is a different guy. While bomb-sniffing dogs searched the plane, Mr. Wells was arrested shortly after making up his call. His attorney claims the client had a, quote, momentary gross lapse in judgment. Yeah? Do you
I
think?
don't think this is a different
It
guy.
is, because the last guy was a businessman. This guy here was a college student. He's
Okay.
only 21. Because remember the last time I was like, wait a minute, this guy he's old enough to know better. He's like 45 years old. And he's like, whoa, I'm running late. And
Well, then there are two morons.
he won't
that-
stop the plane for me. Well, I'm going to call back and say, hey, there's a bomb threat.
What are the odds are two people that stupid?
Well,
Maybe they're related.
They probably, I don't know.
Father, son.
I don't know about that. Coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. A 6-year-old North Carolina boy had to be rescued by firefighters recently after climbing a 50-foot tree in his backyard, then finding himself unable to get down. That
Ew.
would really stink, wouldn't it? When I was a kid, I loved to climb trees. Did
I
you ever do
never
that?
climbed trees.
You've never climbed any tree ever?
I never saw a reason to climb a tree.
Oh, because it's fun. That's why. We had a whole row of trees along my backyard, like right along the alleyway. And you'd climb up one side, and then you'd jump from tree to tree.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Explains a lot, doesn't it? Hey, the Prime Minister of Australia is being criticized over the fact that his government wind farm commissioner will be paid more than $600,000 over his 3-year term. So for those of you who are
honestly,
not
that's
great at math,
$200,000 a year. That's
$200,000
not a
for 3
ton.
years.
I don't know. I don't think that. to be a commissioner in charge of something like that, I don't think that's a ton of money.
I hope that thing is making money then, because if they're losing money and he's making that kind, that's not for a public servant. That sounds like a lot. Hey,
What do our public servants make?
I don't know.
Don't even get started on
don't they just
Australia.
donate their time?
Yeah, they do.
You're telling me that's not the
No,
case?
that's not what they do.
Hey, running will certainly benefit your health, but you need to look at what you're eating, too. Dietitians say it's a myth that running will automatically result in weight loss. Remember the 80-20 rule. Weight loss is 80% diet or nutrition, 20% exercise. The good news there, Heidi, is 80% of the time I eat too much, 20% of the time I don't exercise enough. I just need to increase both of those and make it a lot
Just
better.
need to alter those, turn those two around.
I got the 80-20 part. Hey, a recent poll shows that 13% of Americans think the government should do something about income equality.
How many?
13%.
Oh, wow.
What is the government supposed to do about that?
Yeah, nothing. Go get a job. Go work hard and
Yeah.
make something of yourself.
And I can
That's
tell you,
ridiculous.
it seems to me the harder I work, the quote-unquote luckier I get. So maybe that's what you should be looking into. Hey, where's the world's largest pyramid? Where do you think?
I would assume Egypt, but
Wrong. Not even close.
Jeez.
It's on the other side of the earth. In Mexico. Cholula de Riviabada, Mexico.
I'm sure you nailed
I'm
that.
pretty sure. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a part-time
Your high
linguist.
school Spanish teacher would be so proud.
She would say, muy, muy mal. I don't even know if I got that right.
I don't know. That's probably what
just
she
said. That's very blue. I have no idea what I just said. Hey, this pyramid tops out at 177 feet, covers 45 acres. The pyramid could run circles, well, maybe triangles, around Egypt's Great Pyramid, which reaches no higher than 130 feet. Again, this one's 177 and accounts for 13 acres. This other one's 45 acres. So huge.
I wonder why that one doesn't get more attention.
I don't know. Maybe they just found it. Oh, look at that. This pyramid. How have we overlooked this
I
for so
doubt
long?
that.
Researchers at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I think, is that the one that's referred to as MIT? They created
yes.
a wearable book which allows the reader to experience the protagonist's emotions. Why do we need that?
We don't.
Where do you wear it? I don't even want to know. Amazon has filed a patent for something they're calling the anticipatory delivery.
Okay.
Basically, they look at things like demographic data, browsing habits, and wish lists. Then they try to predict when and where people might order something, and they put it in motion before anyone actually orders it.
What?
So, while it's en route,
That's amazing. I wonder what they do then if it shows up at your house and you haven't paid for it or even ordered it.
while it's en route to a general area, they'll send it to a specific address. So theoretically, you could order something in the morning, and it could actually get to you by that afternoon.
Awesome.
I think there should be a pizza place.
I'm just going to load up my cart with wish list stuff and just wait for things to start to arrive.
If I had a pizza place, I would do this, and I would just call it Psychic Pizza, and I'd show up at doors and say, "Your pepperoni pizza's here." I didn't order it. Well, you're gonna in about a minute. Really? Yeah, Psychic Pizza. We knew you were gonna do. Just give me the $12.50 and I'll go.
I wonder how that will work. If something shows up at your house and you have not ordered it, it's yours, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
they mailed it to you.
No, because what they're doing is they're sending it to your general area, and then they'll put the actual address in once you order it. But they're just anticipating. That's why they call it anticipatory delivery from Amazon. It's ridiculous.
That's the most ridiculous
It
thing
is.
I've ever heard.
Well, maybe not the most, because here's another one. It's our strange law. It is illegal in the state of Michigan to hitch a crocodile to a fire hydrant.
Of course it is.
Well, what am I going to do with my crocodile? That's a strange law. And this has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. Start earning 6%. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com right now. What are you waiting for? Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, that's commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. I've got a special guest that I'm actually really looking forward to visiting with him because I've been looking at the info. This is a very exciting interview that we're going to be doing here today. The headline says, "What turned a teen street fighter into a multimillionaire?" So does it have your attention already? Going to be visiting with Tom Nix. He's the author of Nixland. Tom, how are you today, sir?
Great. Nice to talk with you, John. Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm excited to visit with you. Now, first of all, let's talk about the teen street fighter days. What kind of bad stuff were you doing as a kid, Tom?
Well, I grew up in a town called San Pedro, which is the port of Los Angeles. And, we had longshoremen and the fishing industry and shipbuilding, and there were also lowrider kids, which I was one.
Okay.
And so, I was in a gang, and I liked street fighting. We had a lot of them. Actually, I was in we called them clubs in those days, and they'd probably be called gangs today. But there was about 40 of them in town, and our particular club was called the Essex. And we had 3 objectives: get drunk, get lucky with the ladies, and fight anyone that looked at us in a hostile manner. So that's where I grew up, and it was a great way to grow up because I didn't know any better.
And the good news is you've kind of had some redemption now. You've done some really good things in life too, haven't you?
Absolutely. I've had a great run. We started a business with my dad's life savings of $1,200. Him and I started it together, and made millions of dollars over the years and sold it for $45 million back in 2007. So it was a huge success, and along the way, I grew tremendously as a person, and we also played a very important role in the community that we served.
Well, congratulations on that success. That's awesome. Now, you've got advice for people, maybe if there are young people listening right now that are doing some things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. The good news is they can look at you and say, hey, you know what, there's still hope for me, isn't there?
Absolutely. I think the first thing to realize is that whatever your circumstance is, you need to get out of that circumstance. And for young people, that's pretty much either college or going into the military or even getting a job. And some people, turn to church. But the point is you have to get out of the environment you're in because we're all a product of our environment. And so for me, I got an opportunity to go to college, and I realized that there was a much bigger world out there than I was accustomed to. And, of course, you start making new associations, new friendships, and, I think that's an important first step in terms of moving forward. But the thing that was really the defining moment for me was when I listened to a book on tape called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I have indeed.
It is a fabulous book written in the 30s. I read this in the 70s, and that changed my life because it launched me on a crusade for about 10 years to find out how I could be happy and how I could be successful. And I listened to dozens of self-help tapes and went to seminars, and from that I developed what I call life's key concepts. And those concepts are really what I use to transform myself. And the great news is anybody can use these concepts to create a more happy, healthy, prosperous life for themselves.
Visiting right now with Tom Nix. He's the author of Nixland, My Wild Ride in the Inner City Check Cashing Industry. And again, as we introduced him in the beginning, talking about how he went from a street fighter to a multimillionaire. And one of the things that you talk about is taking ownership. Now, how can taking ownership change the dynamics of my life?
Well, it's really one of the foundations, because once you take ownership, there's nobody else to blame. So you hold yourself accountable, and it forces you to take action. And that's one of the principles in my life's key concepts. And I'd like to mention to your listeners that you can get a free copy of my life key concepts on my website, which is nixland.net. That's N as in November, IXLAND.net. And just look under the About the Book tab, and you'll find a free copy there. This stuff will change your life.
So if there's somebody listening right now that maybe they're not happy with where they are in life, they're upset with the path they've taken, what kind of things should they consider?
Well, the first thing you need to consider is that you are where you are primarily because of the choices you've made in the past.
Yeah.
And so we can get in a different place if we make different choices. And so it's about assessing where you're at, assessing where you want to be. And one of the main concepts that I discovered is called the law of attraction. And that basically, and simply put, is you get what you think about. So if you can change your mind, you can change your life. And the best way I know to program your life is to create positive affirmations. And that's simply writing what you want in life as if you already have it, and saying it at least twice a day, every day. And what happens is your conscious mind, you say this in your conscious mind, goes into your subconscious mind, and somehow through this law of attraction, your subconscious mind starts to create that thought that you're holding in your head in your life.
Nice.
Opportunities come your way, new people come into your life, and that's the way to move your life in the direction you decide.
And I know that for you, just like for me, integrity is a very important thing. So what happens when you begin to let integrity slip from your values?
Well, we all have a value blueprint, and that's how we see ourselves, and that's how others see us. So if you're the kind of person that does the right, fair, honest, honorable things, people are going to support you. They're going to follow you. They're going to want to help you. And just the opposite happens when you're not that way. So it's really important, I think especially important these days, and it's an opportunity to stand out from the crowd. To me, in society, we've slipped a little bit in general in terms of how many people really go living in their life with great honor and integrity and that sort of thing. So it's an opportunity to to help yourself stand out from the crowd. And believe me, when you don't do that, people are not going to support you.
Definitely. Again, our guest today has been Tom Nix. He's the author of the book Nixland, My Wild Ride in the Inner City Check Cashing Industry. Tom, where can I find a copy of this book?
Well, it's online, Amazon.com. We have it as a Kindle, and also you can get it on iTunes. So you can go to any of those places, but you can go to my site, and the links to those are right there. It makes it more convenient. By the way, when you go to Nixland.net, be sure to check out the news footage from the L.A. riot. Mm-hmm. We have an incredible experience in the L.A. riot. We were caught right in the middle of it, and you'll be amazed at that footage.
That sounds great. I'm on the site now. I'll be sure to click on it and check it out. And folks, if you'd like to learn more, I'll give you that website as well. It's Nixland.net, Nixland.net. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
President John F. Kennedy could read 4 newspapers in 20 minutes. Isn't that crazy?
Oh.
4 newspapers in 20 minutes.
What, just like the funnies or what?
He'd read the paper that fast.
No way.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Anne Boleyn, Queen Elizabeth I's mother, had 6 fingers on one hand. Interesting, huh? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ernest Vincent Wright wrote a novel called Gadsby, which contains over 50,000 words. But here's the interesting thing. None of them have the letter E.
Ah.
Yeah. You know how hard that would be?
Wow.
To avoid his typewriter must have been broken or something. I don't know. It doesn't have the letter E. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The sound that E.T. made when he walked, you know what that was? The sound came from?
No.
A lady squishing her hands in jelly.
Ew.
Yeah.
How'd you like that job?
Not good. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sugar was first added to chewing gum in 1869, believe it or not, by a dentist.
I wonder what it tasted like before.
I don't know. But William Semple, he was a dentist. He was the first one to add sugar to chewing gum.
Huh.
And one last
He must have been that 5th dentist that didn't agree.
with the sugar-free ones, yeah. And one last fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that?
Leonardo da Vinci invented scissors. I did not know that.
I didn't know that
now
either.
I do. That's going to do it for our fun
Is he the
facts.
one missing his ear?
Yeah, actually. Explains a lot. Coming up in a bit, we've got the Naked Truth. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Headline is The Naked Truth. It says, what if that dream, you know the one where you're in public without any clothes on?
Oh, I hate those.
What if that was true? You know the dream where you're really in a crowded place and everybody else is wearing clothes, but you're not?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't you thankful that when you finally wake up and you realize, oh, it's just a dream? Well, one guy did wake up and found out it was a reality.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine?
It would be terrible. He was even worse. He was the victim of a robbery. Georgi Burby of Romania woke up on the train in the compartment that he was on
gosh.
to find that all of his clothes had been stolen. But because he was too embarrassed to call for help, he continued on the train for another 100 miles. He then, dressed only in underbreeches, convinced a bus driver to drive him for free another 20 miles. Then he walked home the rest of the way. The robbers took everything from him, even his shoes. He was left with just his undergarments and a very, very, very red face.
Oh,
So
poor guy.
that would be terrible.
That would
So
just be awful.
why would you steal somebody's clothes? I mean,
yeah, that's just...
chances are
that's
they're
just
not going
mean.
to fit. I don't know. It's not like we're all the same size, so maybe there was a robber that was just the right size for this guy, but that's just not nice. Of all the things to steal, why steal his clothes?
Did you have that dream? Have you ever
I've had
that dream?
before. Yeah.
Oh,
I think a lot of people. That's one of the most common dreams.
awful.
And I think mine, it was like when I was in school. I had a dream that I showed up at school naked.
yeah.
And then I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm at school and I'm naked. Just
Oh,
kidding.
that would just be
didn't
awful.
really
I
happen.
had that dream all the time.
Do you still have that dream? Because I haven't had that in a long time.
No.
How long has it been since you've had that dream?
If I was more fit, it wouldn't be a nightmare. It would be like, I mean, I'd go grocery shopping that way if I was fit. I'd be like walking right in. Hey,
Hubba, hubba.
spend all my time in the frozen foods section.
Oh, Heidi. Do you ever have dreams about flying? When I was a kid, I dreamt about flying a lot.
No, I have dreams
Like that I
that my
could fly.
teeth fall out.
Oh, yeah. See, these are weird dreams. Anyway, coming up here in a bit, we've got, if you're having trouble sleeping, some herbal supplements. Or is it herbal supplements? We're going to be chatting about that in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
Now, just the other day, we talked about if you're having trouble sleeping, you should have some chamomile tea.
Yes.
Right? Well, according to this story, if you're having trouble sleeping, your herbal supplements might not be helping you. If you have trouble sleeping at night...
We
this
should just
won't-
quit reading these stories. We're just confusing people.
Yeah, a recent report says many herbal sleep supplements do not contain enough of the key ingredients to be effective. So, ConsumerLab.com has some supplements they tested. They were contaminated with cadmium or lead, and 2 contained cadmium. It says here they're known to cause cancer and toxic to your kidneys. Only 4 of the 14 herbal supplements tested by ConsumerLab.com provided the necessary amount of the key ingredients. And, of course, they don't put those in the story. Wouldn't that be the most helpful part of the story, to tell me the 4 that actually worked? They want me to go to their stupid website, and I'm not going to do it. So there you go. That's enough of that story. Maybe if you want to go to sleep, you're not supposed to count sheep either. What were some of the weird things you were supposed to eat? Turkey was the one.
Turkey. Well, that's
Tryptophan.
got tryptophan.
How much turkey do I need to eat to fall asleep? What's John doing? He starts eating turkey at about 6 p.m. So he's tired at night. All right, coming up, you forgot your hat? Well, we've got a story for you in a bit.
John and Heidi.
If you're planning to operate a bullet train in Japan, don't forget your hat. One of Japan's famed bullet trains had to trundle down the track on autopilot for 5 minutes Wednesday of last week while the driver went in search of his hat to avoid breaking company rules. The train continued down the track at lightning speed with nobody at the wheel.
Gosh.
While the pilot of the train had to leave the driver's seat to look for his hat after he realized he wasn't wearing it. Apparently, company regulations say the driver of the bullet train must have his hat on at all times. So that's even more important than, making sure you're
the
not going
safety
to
of
smash into something.
That's insane.
Yeah, 5 minutes, nobody at the wheel of a lightning-fast bullet train in Japan. I would actually like to ride on one of those bullet trains.
Aren't a lot of trains run, can't they stop them with a
Yeah,
computer
I think
somewhere
so.
else anyway? So, I mean, really, what's
I think it's
the guy
important.
sitting at the seat is just like a glorified babysitter,
No,
right?
somebody's got to see what you're going to hit. Somebody's got to be able to hit the button to stop it. So if it's just barreling down the tracks and there's nobody there, that's bad. It's like saying, well, I have cruise control, so I'm going to just take a nap. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
with cruise control, you have to steer. You don't have to steer a train. It's on the tracks.
I don't know. There's more to it than that. Heidi. Coming up, we've got some golf tips. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. For those of you who've listened to this program for more than a day or two, you'll probably know that Heidi and I are not sports people. I mean, we're not the people to talk to. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even admit this. The other day I had an interview with a gentleman. I'm not even going to say who it was because I felt so bad. Luckily, I was pre-recording the interview and I was able to edit it. We were talking about the fact that he worked with a certain sports team, and I kept saying hockey, and it was a football team.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're football.
Even I knew
I was like, oh, yeah.
it was a football team.
Let's redo that part. Anyway, moving on to a different sport I don't know much about. Let's talk about golf for a second.
All right.
If you're looking for the secret to a better golf score, according to Purdue University psychologist Jessica Witt, they say better golfers are more likely to view the hole as larger than their bogey-prone counterparts. So if you're a better golfer, you imagine that it's a bigger hole, and people who are not very good golfers think, oh man, that hole is so tiny, I'm not going to be able to hit it. Witt and her researcher team asked 46 golfers to estimate the size of the hole after playing a round of golf. From a poster, they selected one of 9 black holes ranging in size from 3.5 to 5 inches. In reality, the diameter of a golf hole, for those of you who are wondering, is 4.3 inches. Those who selected the larger holes had consistently better scores on the course that day. So, Heidi's over here. Would you get your mind out of the gutter, you second grader? What are you doing? She's over here laughing. Mention size of holes.
Well, everybody who goes for the larger hole has better odds.
Would you just stop?
But those who go for the smaller hole, we find they have more enjoyment
Would you just...
out of scoring because it was more difficult.
Oh, boy. So the ones who went for the larger hole had a lower score. The ones who went for the smaller hole had a higher score. So I'm going to just move on because we're done. We are so done. Would you stop it?
I'm sorry.
It's Monday. You're acting like it's Friday. I don't know what's going on. Coming up, we've got some good news. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We always try to wrap things up around here with something positive, something good, that's good news. And many young football players may dream of a day when they could make it big in the NFL. And then they could maybe buy their mom a new house or say thanks for everything she's done along the way. Well, according to today, a New York Giant running back named Rashad Jennings, that proud moment was caught on a heartwarming video when he surprised his mother, Deborah, with a lavish new home. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Jennings is in the midst of a 4-year deal worth $10 million contract. He signed it in 2004. and he's coming off a career high 863 rushing yards with the New York Giants, and decided he was going to celebrate by buying his mom a house. So kind of makes me think that maybe someday our kids will say, hey, you know what, Mom, Dad, we're going to buy you a house.
You think?
Not going to be much of a house at this point. Someday. You just never know. No, I think that's really cool. I wish I was in a position to say, hey, Mom, I'm buying you a house. That'd be awesome.
That'd be neat.
Right now, I could maybe buy her like a Barbie house.
You might be able to get her a new doorbell.
I could get you a bird house. What you think, Mom? Do you need a bird house? No, I think that's really cool. Again, it's just really heartwarming to see that. This guy is one of the New York Giants, which I do know is a football team. For those of you listening a little bit ago, I'll tell you which team it was. It was the Steelers. And the guy
he thought they were hockey.
The dentist for the Steelers. And I said, so did you ever have to deal with people getting a puck to the face?
Not usually on
like,
the football field.
I was like, well, this, getting a stick in the face. And he's like, we're talking about football. I was like, oh, yeah, Steelers are football. What the heck am I thinking?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I love it when my brain doesn't engage quite in time for me to know what I'm talking about. Anyway, time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. If you'd like to read more about the story about Rashad Jennings and this really cool, touching video moment, you can see that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break, only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the good folks at Knowles Systems. If you haven't heard of them, well, you need to listen up because I got to tell you all about this. If you have funds earning less than 6%, maybe you should check into a better system like Knowles Systems. They have commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. If you've never heard of a commercial mortgage bridge loan, I'm going to tell you what this is. It's a loan paying 6% to 8%, and it could be just what you need. You're placed in the first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels and apartments and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. You can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. If you'd like more info on how you can start earning 6% or more right now, call 888-547-8007. I'll give you that number again in a second, but first, you might want to just check out the website if that's easier. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com or 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
Let's cruise right through our bonus break here and get some really fun stuff. I got a lot of little things we're going to hit. We're going to do this fast, Heidi. You ready to go fast?
Sure.
All right, so where should we start? How about right here? In Japan, a town is looking to hire 6 full-time ninjas to help boost tourism as a major attraction. So they're saying, you know what we need in this town? 6 ninjas. That's what we need.
What? Where was this at?
In Japan. They're trying to hire 6 full-time ninjas to boost tourism. I'm not sure what the plan is. That's the entire story.
Why don't they
there.
just tell people there are 6 ninjas?
Yeah, come
Because
and
you can
find
never
them.
see them.
It's now official. This was the hottest winter in history. Might explain why Kim Kardashian's photos didn't have much on because it's so hot out. Heidi. That's what it was. Hey, some might say good news. Some might say bad news. I know what Heidi will say before I even read this. But Michelle Obama, when she leaves the White House, she says, I won't be looking back. She recently announced while doing a speech for the Education for Girls Around the World by South by Southwest that Queen Latifah was the moderator of it, and they asked, and she said, no, I will not run for president. Did you think she was going to?
I really honestly didn't think she was going to.
I didn't think so.
can't imagine anybody
You
thinking
never
that
know.
would have been a good
Somebody
idea.
thought that was a good plan, apparently. So what do men obsess about the most? A British survey of men says they're just as body obsessed as women. Remember when a man's beer belly was a symbol of his manliness? Not anymore. Fully 1/3 of men said that they hated their fat bellies, and 25% have had issues with their entire bodies. So I don't know that I'm obsessed about my body, but I'd like to lose some weight. So does that mean I'm obsessed? I don't think I'm
I don't
obsessed.
think you're obsessed. I think you could stand to be a little more obsessed than you are. But I don't think you're
If I was
obsessed.
a little more obsessed, I wouldn't say, I'll get 2 of those double cheeseburgers. In Ukraine, a gang of crooks heard that the crook grapevine, they heard through the grapevine about a van that would be passing through town loaded with money. They snatched the van as its driver was making a delivery. And the story that they heard was true. The van was full of money. Unfortunately, It was all counterfeit money that was confiscated by authorities and was being transported to a burn site. So it was all tagged, and they couldn't do anything with it anyway. An 83-year-old runner has run 88 miles to promote environmental protection. This happened in Iran. So an 83-year-old runner can say, I ran in Iran. He ran 88 miles there.
Alrighty.
That was not a very good joke, was it?
Not really.
NASA, they'd like to light a large-scale fire in space.
Why?
Yeah. Recreating a disaster in an expendable spacecraft to see what would happen.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
So after the next resupply vehicle undocks from the International Space Station and moves a safe distance away, a team back on Earth will execute a command to begin Spacecraft Fire Experiment 1. It's going to be known as Sapphire 1. So NASA is going to blow up a spaceship just to see what will happen.
That is such
This
a bad
sounds
idea.
something like what North Korea would do if they had a space. Doesn't
If
it?
they had technology?
Yeah, if they knew what they were doing, they're like, hey, let's shoot a rocket in space and just blow it up and see what'll happen. So anyway, NASA's working on that. Sapphire 1. So if you ever have the opportunity to ride on Sapphire 1, don't do it. It's a bad idea. There are many things that'll bring a child. There are many bring a child to work days. You've heard of those, right? Mm-hmm. It's bring your daughter to work. It's bring your son to work. Nothing quite like what police in Russia say they encountered. An 8-year-old boy was watching his father and 2 other men burglarize cars.
Oh, my gosh.
Police say they were summoned around 3 a.m. by a resident who reportedly saw 3 men breaking into cars at an apartment complex. Officers found 3 men in the parking lot, and there was also a boy, and he was there with his father. He was checking out what they were doing. He was taken to his mom. The other guys were taken to jail.
That's awful.
And Indiana Jones still hasn't retired, Heidi.
I know. I
Steven
read that.
Spielberg will direct Harrison Ford in the 5th installment. You don't sound excited.
No, because the last one was terrible.
Well, it'll open July 19th, 2019. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the last film, and that came out in 2008.
Which
so
was
it's been a
awful.
while.
That was terrible.
And it was Harrison Ford and Shia LaBeouf, and it was not the greatest of movies. Phobias. 14% of the population suffers some sort of phobia. Here's our final bit for our Knowles, our bonus break brought to you by Knowles Systems. Our phobias here. Fear of opinions is called allodoxophobia.
Okay.
Are you afraid of opinions?
Not really. No.
How about ergocophobia? What do you think that is? Ergophobia.
I have
Ergophobia.
no clue what
Fear
that
of
would be.
work.
Okay.
How about mycophobia?
I don't know.
Fear of mushrooms. There you go. That is the bonus break brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, you need a better system. Check out Knowles Systems. They have commercial mortgage bridge loans that earn 6 to 8%. Could be just what you need. All of the details can be found right now. What are you waiting for? We're done talking anyway. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.